Hey, welcome. So the reason why I'm making this video is like just a bit of an update. I've not posted in a while, but I'm coming away from that prop firm space, and the reason why is I've already collected my payouts, okay. But to be honest, they were still payouts, but they weren't the payouts that you want. You want those type of payouts where you feel like you did exactly what you needed to do throughout it. And sometimes I felt like I was chasing that like fast dopamine, which is a quick surefire way to ensure that you're pretty much guaranteed to fail. So in order, what you're doing by stepping away is you're pulling yourself out of a situation where dopamine can come to you very fast. The thing about prop firms is, what a lot of you don't understand is, the game is it's a game, right? It's heavily gamified. If you actually go to a normal broker and look at how trading is done there compared to these prop firms, it's a world of difference. So I've actually stepped away. I use AMP Futures as my broker, so I trade. I still do trade, obviously, but I'm trading live, okay, and I'm going to be trading live until that discipline is so like amazing that it's practically impossible, even with all of these things around you being gamified, even if you don't know it. I'll just give you an example. It's so easy to execute. The reason why it's so easy to execute is because you're not actually trading on the live markets, okay. Now this is just me saying, I don't really know, I don't own a prop firm, but I'm pretty sure what they do is, you know how they have Top Step X or Project X. These guys have the data fees that they buy. They buy the data fees, but it's not the true market. They just have a very, very good data feed, and you basically just trade in demo, and they just pay you out of their profits. I think the amount of people that do get payouts is very, very small, and you have to wake up and understand the game that you're playing. Um, Once you can understand that game, you can really start to take off with these prop firms. But a lot of you probably don't really know it. See, I do kind of understand the game. I managed to get my payouts, and now I'm pulling away during these less profitable months. Um, and then yeah, well, I mean, at one point I was max allocated, and then I blew them all. And if you just think about it, all that hard work just being blown like that, and it was purely my fault. But the situations that you're put in, they're just not the best. And always blame yourself, but you need to be doing things properly. There is no shortcut to success. You have to be working as well. I think people have a wrong idea of success and what it actually is, and how fast you can achieve it. Obviously, there is anomalies out there that got rich overnight, but that's not how a normal person is going to do it. Okay, you need to be compounding these little things. For example, you need to have stock sizes that are compounding over time. Okay, I know in myself, I'm guaranteed to be rich, right? It doesn't matter when. I might be rich when I'm 40, 50, whatever. I'm going to be rich anyway. I just want to get there sooner. And this is the reason why I have the trading. Now, I also go to uni. I'm doing a degree in economics and mathematical science. So I'm wanting to go into investment banking when I'm older. Obviously, if this all takes off, then great. But what you need to understand is that everything compounds, okay? There is no shortcut to success. Everything takes time and effort. But if all of your effort is lined up, the consistency is there, everything will come true. And that's exactly the thing with these prop firms is, you get people trading like on Christmas Eve. Like, what are you doing? I mean, come on, I haven't traded in a very, very long time. During that time where I wasn't trading, I normally only work twice a week. During that time that I wasn't trading, I was working just as much as I could, like, every day if I could. I was picking up as many shifts as I could, because the thing that matters is money, right? You get money, you have to work for it. You can't just be sat here on a prop firm on Christmas Eve. It's not how it works, okay? And it's a bit all in your head. You need to understand exactly what you're doing. Some people don't even understand the interface that they are trading, and they're trading off of it, full porting. And each time, you're just throwing away money, and you need to keep track of where your money's going. Okay, I plan out my finances all the time. I plan out how much I'm inputting into my stocks ISA. I plan out how much I'm putting into a live account, which is, obviously growing. I plan out all my expenses, and there's just that massive hole of expenses, right, with prop firms. Okay, obviously, if you're getting payouts, great, but a lot of people aren't. I got my payouts, and I worked it out in my head, and I just think it's more profitable to come away from prop firms for at least a couple of months. Um, Start building that live account, get back to, looking at it, move to a different order flow platform. So I'm moving to Sierra charts now. And you'll just see, it costs more money to trade live, but that's because you're doing it for real. Okay, prop firms, it is just a bit like a game, and you can get rich doing them. I made, pretty nice, pretty penny from it, and plenty of people will make nice, pretty pennies from it. But you have to understand the game that you are playing. You have to understand what situations you're put in, and yeah, you can definitely get towards that goal of reaching that financial success, which is the reason why everybody starts. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm not treating prop firms like free money. In fact, they probably suck a lot more money than you would actually think. You know, you need to be in tune with your finances, especially if you want to be, nice and wealthy. You need to be in tune with investments. You need to understand that if you're young, the thing on your side is time. You need to be able to, be putting money away and saving it and making every pound that you earn count. Now, if you're not earning any money, which is the problem, if you're not earning any money, you just get a job. Just get a job. There's a big thing like, no, you don't want to be an entrepreneur getting a job. Like, it's just stupid. No, it's probably the best thing that you should do. You should definitely have a job. You should be working just as much as possible if you want to make it work. That's how it goes. You have to think that you have to make things work. And I'd say I've altered to a lot more of a process, more of a mindset, which is where I enjoy the wins out of my process rather than outcomes. A little bit before, when I'm getting all these payouts, you feel like on top of the world. You're planning the next part of your content. You're planning, when certain things are releasing, whatnot. The thing is that, that sort of process can die out when you're getting all these results, and you have to be very careful, which is why, when you start like popping off and you start doing really well, you have to really ground yourself and really understand what's happened. You have to ask yourself, okay, so like what's happened? Okay, I need to ensure that certain things don't change, certain things are staying the same, and I need to not get too ahead of myself. And you need to live beneath your means, right? You cannot be spending all of this money. Let's say you got I don't know, a 2,000 payout. Don't go and buy some Louis Vuitton shoes, you idiot. Invest that all back into yourself. Yes, certain percentages have to go away. Take into account your order flow, market, whatever you're using. If that's monthly expenses, you know take into account that. If you're trading live, obviously you have to pay for, to be able to trade, you have to pay like the monthly fee. If you're trading all CME, probably be about $50, so you'll have to pay that as well every month. Or if you just want futures, probably get it for about $20. But you have to take into account all these things. You can't go like bonkers, which is why having that process mindset keeps you grounded and basically makes it inevitable that things will start to move in the correct direction. But what you're doing by having a process mind, by being process minded, what you're doing is you're building all of the foundations that you have to be able to build on. And a lot of the time you will feel bored when you move away from prop firms. I mean, I moved away from prop firms, a couple of months ago, and I haven't traded since. Just been building, and I've been putting it all into a live account ready for when I'm ready to go. Probably in the next week. I want to see how this week plays out. But there's people sat there today, and they're like full port in, and it's the first Monday. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And those type of people, you're just not gonna make it, are you? You're not gonna make it in the trading space because you're gonna go through exactly what I went through. the thing is that I've been through that cycle. I understand the game. The biggest thing is patience. What you have to do is learn that, gratification is much better when it's, later. Quit all of the things that are bad for you. I don't know if you vape, drink. I don't do any of that anyway. But quit that. Get in the gym. Get the blood moving. But you have to identify the plan. You have to understand what you're working towards, and you have to know that this isn't just a shortcut. And things do take a while. Don't get me wrong. There are crypto millionaires that made, I don't know, like 600k in like one night. But these are things that have to compound up. Okay, they don't happen straight away. Okay, it's pretty much impossible. You need to be able to connect, get in the right group of people, work together. you know you need to try, you need to fail a lot, and eventually, if you've built that foundation and you're not just chasing fast dopamine, you'd be surprised, it'll just all start coming to you. But anyway, that's a little update. I hope you took some things from it. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.